Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. Man, it's great to be back. It's been a little while. Realize that Ripple could potentially leave the U.S. if, and we're going to talk about what that if is, and the USD, the U.S. dollar, can be replaced as a reserve currency. And in fact, two countries are trying everything in their power to make that happen. And the big question that I have, Chip, is where is XRP?
Pay.
Pay.
There you go.
XRP.
I don't know. Let's find out.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So let's jump to the. So Jeff, this is kind of a developing story right here, but let's throw this one out here. So Eleanor Terrett she is a producer and writer, journalist she's also been on the chain here,
Business.
but from Fox Business, and she's also really elevated her game as far as crypto, Web3, NFTs, really coming along beautifully. But the House Misappropriations Committee has yet misappropriated some more funds, approved a bill that recommends funding amounts to the various government agencies for the upcoming fiscal year. Committee recommended just over $2.2 billion go to the SEC for the fiscal year 2023, but made the following request to crypto. And I got to get your take on this, Jeff. Listen to this. This is the request they made. New financial products require clear pathways and regulatory structures for stakeholders, developers, and investors. The committee is concerned that enforcement action, in the absence of regulatory clarity, invokes confusion in the growing sector. The committee encourages the SEC to issue public guidance that promotes U.S.-based innovation. In other words, here is the money you requested to regulate crypto, but please try not to spend it all on regulation by enforcement cases and provide some clarity instead. Thoughts?
Who wrote that? Is that Eleanor writing that kind of facetiously, or is that serious from directly from the Misappropriation Committee?
Well, no, this part here, she was putting in her own words. In other words, here's the money, but don't please.
Yeah.
That's her interpretation of what was basically set up here.
I'm saying that part, that's actually the actual segment. I mean, it's kind of asinine. You think about it, and she's spot on with what she's saying, because right now, the one thing that we're seeing the SEC do and their continuous overreach, which we seem to have to belabor over and over again because they keep stepping in the same poop, and so so I think she's spot on. It's just like, here's $2.2 billion. Don't spend it all in the same place on your pillars of enforcement, because we know that's what Gary loves, and that's probably where it's going to be spent. He's going to spend it. How do you think he spends that money when he works out of his living room like that?
Well, they still got to hire people. They have to hire people to do the enforcement. And it says the committee's concerned. If you're concerned, don't grant the money. That's why Jeff and I affectionately call it the Misappropriation Committee, because they're continually misappropriating the money. It's like, hey, Jeff, you know what? Hey, there's a guy, he's in business and everything. He's not doing the right thing. But you know what? We're venture capitalists. Why don't we give him $2 billion and just say, hey, stern warning, we don't, just be very careful there, buddy. I mean, it's the dumbest thing ever, right? I mean, it's like you say, if you know they're going to do that, you're like, but please don't do that. They're going to do that. I mean, it's just silly.
Dude, it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. The committee encourages the SEC to issue public guidance that promotes U.S.-based. How is the SEC going to promote and issue guidance to promote innovation? I just don't get that.
Well, the other thing too is how dumb is the House Misappropriations Committee if they don't know that they're the ones that provide the guidance? They're the ones that make the rules. The SEC does not provide guidance. So this is like a circular argument. They're like yelling at the SEC to go ahead and put some guidance out there. It's not their job to issue guidance. The only job of the SEC is to protect the investor, capital formulation, and a bunch of other things. That's pretty much it. Exactly.
There you go. There's DJ. Check that out. They beg him instead of demanding of him. What a joke. And it's a complete joke. It's a farce. You think about it.
Well, isn't that what Isn't that basically what it is? I mean, so we got to look through this here. We got to see. Is this the House? What the heck is this?
Are you looking for the House Misappropriation Committee?
I was trying to find them. I'm trying to find House Committee on Appropriations. Is that the same one?
It's called the House Committee on Appropriations. Yes.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's go look at these. So here we
The
are.
chair is Rosa DeLauro.
I don't know who that is.
And they have a whole bunch of subcommittees. So maybe is there a subcommittee that's more specific to? I don't see it. I don't know where he would fall. Maybe Commerce, Justice, Science, and Related Agencies. Does it fall in there? Does it fall into
Look at
financial?
that.
Probably financial services and general government.
Look who's on that, right in our backyard. Hasn't been heard of since, well, let's be very careful here.
Farce.
Another, Beyond. Henry Queller, another one. Boy, it's made up of a lot of winners. You can see that, Jeff. I mean, you can just see the winners on this committee. And they don't know what's going on. They have no idea.
No.
Anyway, no, I just, but this is what they do. It's like, hey, yeah, here's the 2.2 billion, but just be careful, okay? And you provide guidance. What do they not know? I mean, they're in Congress, Jeff. They're in the House. You know, people they live outside the U.S. They realize that we have the House of Representatives, and then we have the Senate. The House of Representatives controls the spending. So you have this misappropriation committee just doling out 2.2 billion. Here you go, Gary G, Daddy G. But be careful. Provide guidance, which the SEC's job is not to provide guidance. So it's a pretty bizarre one.
It's pretty bizarre. You wonder what he's going to do with the 2.2 billion. You realize they just listed or just announced the richest. So check this out. So they're giving him 2.2 billion to spend on stuff, but the Daily Hodl had this article that came out a couple days ago. Said the richest Bitcoin whale in existence now has over 2.7 billion in Bitcoin after a massive series of transactions, and it's not Michael Saylor apparently. But this whale added 2,554 Bitcoin in a series of transactions since June 14th. So I just find it interesting in total volume of holdings there and value. They're giving them 2.2 billion to spend on. They're going to use on enforcement, and now we have a private holder, holding $2.7 billion current valuation of Bitcoin. I mean, it's
a little bit insane. Look at this story here. So Brad Garlinghouse, I love how he said he reckoned. Yeah, I reckon if Ripple will expand out of the U.S. if company loses XRP.
There you go. So I think there's a lot to this story, though. If we think about it, Chip, because what are your thoughts? Let's say,
well, what are you going to do? I mean, if you lose the case, which is unlikely in our opinion, but what are you going to do? It's like, well, let's stay here and keep fighting. Well, no, you leave immediately.
Especially since it's a global thing, right? Because Ripple isn't about U.S. transaction. It's about moving money on a global scale and replacing SWIFT. I think that's the biggest part of it. I'm still shocked that their corporate office is based out of the U.S.
Yeah, well, they just opened up a brand new office up in Toronto, which is a little tech hub up there, and
But Toronto's just a suburb of the U.S. So I mean,
kind of, Jeff. Right. Except they lack one little important key thing: freedom. But that's who's paying attention to that? I mean, other than that, I mean,
pesky little details.
Yeah, I had a little tweet exchange with somebody, and I was just laughing pretty hard about that. I might have to put that up. No, read it. We'll just look at it. But Garlinghouse, speaking to Axios Media at the Collision Conference in Toronto, said that the company could relocate away from the U.S. if, well, it's not the XRP lawsuit. The Ripple lawsuit is lost. It's not that we could, we will. Well, that's like tell me, I'll take 500 for the most obvious there, Jeff. I'll put it up on the board in a Jeopardy match. Of course. I mean, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to leave. Why not?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, and again, it's all going to go back to the global agenda that they have, and it's not just a US centric agenda, and there's really a lot more, to be considered in this. But imagine this. So here we're focused on what the impact. Think about the impact that the SEC could have on, let's say they do lose, but regardless, we're not even there yet. But the actions that are currently being taken through enforcement by the SEC could have far-reaching repercussion that will force a major player in this new financial technology outside of the US, bringing their corporate office and their technology to another country. And that's then ripples because, not just using the terminology, but the ripple effect would then cause the US to lose major positioning in holding that kind of technology or having a company, based out of the US with that leadership and technology, but then also the job market in the US. If that does happen, this is the trajectory of the 2.2 billion that Gary could then, that's been misappropriated to him, that he can then spend at whim, could have disastrous impact without any consideration of collateral damage. That to me is what's so shocking. And as we look at kind of you juxtapose one story over the other and the impacts, it's amazing.
Yeah, and also too, I just judging the way, if you're the SEC, you've got all the power behind you, right? Money's no object when it comes to attorneys, resources. You have an open checkbook, even though Gary was in there, begging for more money, but you really aren't. You're. I mean, Ripple's probably into this for, who knows, $50 million, $100 million already. They have top.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just at least $100 million. It's got to be something really ridiculous. But the SEC doesn't have that concern. But if you have a winning case, why are you delaying everything? Why are you having to redact certain key words? I mean, you have the strong case. You're the one that dropped the lawsuit. You should be going for the jugular. You should be full steam ahead, get this thing over, and stick it to them. And instead, what it looks like is laziness. It looks like incompetence. It looks like they've dropped the ball at almost every juncture, and they just want to continue to redact, strike. I mean, they go find this this expert witness. Duty is his last name. You said duty. You said duty. I mean, come on, man. Really? Are we not watching a movie? Really? Your expert witness is Duty, and he's the guy that's going to tell you. Do you think he spoke to any of the 70,000
name is Duty
XRP holders that have joined forces with John E. Deaton? Come on, man. Just so you know, it's spelled Doody, duty. But it sounds like duty. You guys don't know what duty is. It's another word for yeah.
Duty.
Yeah,
dude, I feel so bad for that guy. Growing up must be rough.
And SEC have the same lawyers. BZ, good to see you.
Oh my God.
Good to see you. So I mean, the whole thing is just absolutely insane, but this is great. I mean, I'm telling you, it at some point we'll all look back at this and we'll just kind of laugh. We'll openly laugh, like just like those little sideshow. You go by like a window and it's like there's always like those characters in it, and one will be one of us. Just giving out that old laugh. It's a big old belly laugh, Jeff. And look at this one here. So because that happened, XRP's up more than 10% after Ripple announced plans to
what? What were the plans? What?
We know what the plans were. Oh, it was weird.
How do we know?
Well, here's the plan. Well, there it is right there.
It might be a completely different plan. Look at all those tokens. Check out the tokens on the laptop and all sorts of stuff. Let's see what we got there.
Yeah,
we got some SHIB. We got some Doge. Got some Ripple.
Bitcoin.
No XRP.
Got a Ripple coin.
Got a Ripple coin.
So
this is a good one though. What did Eleanor have to say? There's some big revelation there.
Yeah, she said the SEC is due to reveal important decisions on the lawsuit. These decisions are expected to provide more clarity regarding the direction of the lawsuit and whether Ripple stands a chance at winning. Ripple also announced earlier this week it has plans to have a presence in Canada. Will come in the form of a Toronto-based engineering hub. Significant amount of accumulation took place, and there you go. Fueled by hope, the uptick in XRP price.
RSI, that's the relative. Is that the relative strength index? The RSI
might be. Yeah.
RSI is 50%.
50% level. Fueled by hope, Jeff. This is written like they try to make this something like a novel and a story. Fueled by hope. You know, it's kind of like if you're going to be seeing the next movie, it's like fueled by hope. Now the uptick in XRP's price is a sign the community is excited. It's like a movie trailer. It's like,
That's awesome.
fueled by hope. Well, what?
Yeah.
So a positive outcome might fuel a bigger gain. Might, Jeff, it just might. Hence why
Yeah.
the subject receives so much attention.
Check out XRP's social dominance metric. I didn't even know there was a.
Ooh.
I didn't even know there was a metric for social dominance.
Who knew, Jeff?
But look at that. But it registered a significant spike. Who's tracking it, and how does it get tracked? I don't. What is this metrics they speak of?
There it is, right there. There's a significant
There
spike.
it is. It's true. See,
Right
it's there. It's in
See it
color.
right there.
It's
See
been
that?
printed. The metric has proven to be true. Look at that on June 24th.
You see that on the Mac, by the way, Jeff? If I just shake my mouse a little bit so you can see it, it just turns into a big cursor. So sometimes you lose it on the screen, so you just shake it a little bit. There you go. See that? See that, Jeff? Genius level right there.
Nice.
The number of active XRP addresses also increased significantly. The number of active addresses was as low as 27,602 on June 1st, but then it peaked, Jeff. It peaked to 51,000. So I'm not a math genius, Jeff, but if I can do the math in my head right here, went from 27,000 to 51,000 from the 21st to the 23rd. So in 2 days, a lot of people bought XRP, or certainly more addresses.
Matt's got you there. Look at the quality of that Apple mouse control.
The one thing I will tell you, man, and this is one of the things that crushes. And I have a recent convert from a PC, a buddy of mine, over to the Mac, and he's like, "Dude, you're absolutely right about the whole cursor." Yeah, when I'm shaking it, it gets big. But look at the mount, and then I can just barely twitch it. This was something that doesn't happen on a PC. Is I can go as slow as I want, move my mouse or trackpad all the way across, and then one flick and it's all the way across the other monitor. You guys don't have that kind of relative control. Sorry about that, LaRoche. I'm gonna call him BS on that.
Nope, apparently I don't.
No, you
I don't know. My mouse moves around pretty quick.
If I move it real fast, I can go all across the whole screen. If I move it super slow, it'll drag across the screen.
I can move it across the screen too. I got it.
Don't have
it goes all the way to this other monitor. It's there in 2 seconds.
I start typing.
Look at that.
Listen, man, I work on a PC, man. It doesn't have that control. You can't set it up that way. It's not part of it.
Mine does. It's great. My mouse is fast.
I'm talking about being fast. It doesn't have that relative control. Anyway,
XRP's 30-day moving relative vertical. That's the moving average. 30-day moving average ratio. That is MVRV? Is that the moving? What is that MVRV? I don't remember what that is, but I would think it's a 30-day moving average.
That's what I'm thinking.
The ratio, but I'm not 100% sure. There's a lot of conversation going on in there. It's good. I mean, this is amazing. Okay. You know, when you can apply TA to Eleanor's statements. There you go.
There it is right there. It's market value to realize the value.
Aha, there you go.
So it's calculated by dividing the market value by the realized value. And realized value, BTC prices are taken at the time they last move instead of the current price, like in a market value.
That's crazy.
Some invented thing that means nothing.
A lot of stuff going on there.
That's what I'm going with on that one.
So Nudge said, are the judges allowed to do their own research, or do they have to make a decision based only what is presented to them?
I don't know. I think we're experts here. What the hell do you think? What do you think, man? You're just watching two guys talking about this stuff. I mean, I don't know. It's all opinion based. I would have to. I mean,
I think a judge has to do some level of research to understand what they're talking about. So it's not strictly you come out and, you know, let the attorneys educate, and then you have to, you know, make some statements based on what the, you know, I believe they must be doing some research on.
I would think so. I mean,
and I believe we've seen that too, haven't we?
Of course we have. Yeah, of course we have from Torres. I mean, these judges are very savvy, and they know when to call BS on the SEC, and they certainly have even early on. So I have a feeling that they definitely do know. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. You know, we talk a lot. Go ahead. You want to grab that?
Oh, let's put that one. Let's go through, just blast through some of these comments here. So Jimmy Young is saying ETH 2.0 won't be ready for about 6 years, so nothing to worry about there. And then we had Jim D responded to that. SEC is just delaying to let ETH 2.0 go live. It'll backfire when 2.0 crashes in a glorious junk heap. But then I love these comments. Legendary, what is going on, Legendary? Shout out to Legendary and Jim D. But we've got Ripple is taking the Mayflower back to
Sounds
Europe.
good. Sounds.
And then one more from Martin Redwood. The 1% will rug pull everyone of the reality once they have everyone in the metaverse.
Major rug pull. I like that. That's a good take right there. That's a good one right there. I don't know what this one means here, but this is Matt LaRose. He says, Gensler's so weak he couldn't break out of a coffin made of custard skin. It's a weird analogy, but you might be onto something there. You might be absolutely onto something. So there you go. Well, that's
OTC Live. That's right.
That'd be something. Look at this right here. This is an interesting.
Misappropriation Committee has us dialed in. Oh, go
well,
ahead.
I want to talk about this next story because we have long criticized any kind of CBDC, central bank digital currency because of the amount of control, and we saw what happened, in China, and the amount of control that they can actually take over, and it's programmable. So it's like, we don't like you spending your money on that, and I'm not going to say what that is. We can all use our brains here. Let's all be careful here. But you say like, oh, I mean, I can't buy that. Nope, you can't buy that. Well, why not? Because programmed not to buy it. But here comes the story, Jeff. Check this out. The Bank of Israel investigates anonymous digital shekel payments. So the Bank of Israel has been experimenting with tech that would allow some CBDC payments to be made anonymously.
Interesting.
That's kind of crazy, right? I mean, this is very innovative because we've not heard anything anywhere remote. Well, and part of it is the whole idea is on, you can be somewhat anonymous on you buy Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, Solana. You can remain. I mean, if people know your wallet address, fair enough. But for a CBDC to be anonymous, this is kind of an interesting story, and it's might set some kind of a precedent. But setting out the results from its first digital shekel technological experiments, the bank says that one of its main focuses has been finding a balance between offering the privacy afforded by cash and ensuring a CBDC cannot be used for things such as tax avoidance and money laundering. Experiment examined a model developed by VMware that would see its citizens have a wallet that can hold ordinary digital shekels, the transfer of which is recorded on the ledger, and private digital shekels, and then transfer details of which are not recorded openly, where both sides of the transaction and can enjoy complete privacy, the same as with cash payments.
And that's something critical. I mean, we've heard that, from those here, even in the US, when they've been discussing it within the halls of Congress, they have brought it up, the CBDC. Some of the concern, from both sides of the aisle have voiced concern of privacy as being one big component of why they don't want to, wouldn't agree to a central bank digital currency. For me, I thought, for the most part, it's just a lot of hot air that they're blowing out, for the edification of the people that are listening. And then they'll try to sneak whatever they want to sneak in. But this is really the epicenter of being able to roll out a true CBDC that's going to be in, let's call it, our free societies, right? Because we know the digital yuan or the digital ruble, whatever, we're going to have, major issues, with privacy concern. We know with the digital yuan, there's already going to be an issue with social scores and everything else. So at least they're taking note where, hey, you know what, there's got to be privacy and transaction. But that doesn't solve all the other issues that will still be, representative when you move from paper fiat to a digital representation of the paper fiat. It solves some things, but it still doesn't balance out all the other issues, meaning the endless printing. Now you can easily just expand on your digital representation versus just the paper, right, Chip? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Oh, exactly. But I mean, it is interesting that they do say it's complete privacy as with cash payments, which is really why central banks want to make the switch to a CBDC, because they don't like that. They don't like not knowing where the money is and what people are doing with it, or where it's being moved, where everything is recorded on the ledger, and the privacy lies in the hands of who? Not usually the end user, but the central bank. That's why it's called it's the whole idea of the central bank. People confuse the CBDC with blockchain and with a cryptocurrency. It's none of that. It's none of that. It's more control. It actually has way more control. So I just thought that was an interesting experiment, and I don't know if we'll see too many others jumping down that rabbit hole. I'm not sure we'll see that, but I thought that was really that was pretty cool.
Martin says, "Fake money, real tax."
That's right. Fake money. Pay your taxes with it. Make sure you're doing the right thing. Got to make sure you're doing the right thing, Jeff, at all times. I mean,
Miguel wants to know where you can buy XRP in the U.S. What exchange? Uphold is still relevant here in the U.S. and Bitstrew.
Blockquake, can you buy it on Blockquake, I think, too?
But then you might not be able to, depending on what state you're in. So, like, say, like New York, I don't believe you can use Uphold. Right?
Yeah, but Blockquake is located in New York. We've had Anthony on the show here. Let me see. Is Blockquake? I'm pretty sure. Let me see what. I should get him back on the show. Trying to find their. Not finding it right away, but that just happens. Whatever. I can't locate it right off the bat there, but that'll happen. I wanted to
Uphold, Bitstrew, and KuCoin.
Yeah, KuCoin's had some interesting experiences with that. Remember I had that transaction stuck there, Jeff, for a while. Got stuck for 3 days.
That was
entertaining. It was a little worrisome there, I'll be honest with you. I was like, this is not coming back, is it? It's not happening. So, whether you like Tim Draper or hate Tim Draper had the epic smash beatdown on Gary Gensler before Gary Gensler was the enforcer over at the SEC. And I also like how, like, if you're in a conversation with Tim Draper, he just keeps raising his voice until he's just like, but I wanted to say something, but I think he just comes at you. Oh gosh, do I love that. So this one was posted by the Crypto Cowboy. And this is Tim Draper talking about crypto. Let me make sure this sucker's all the way up. But let's listen to this, Jeff. Look at this here.
I like the idea of a government that creates a great platform for everybody to participate equally. I mean, fairly and equally. Because if everybody participates, then they all have a pretty good shot at participating in this. This is going to be the biggest deal in the history of the universe. We have never seen a technology that can potentially affect this many trillion-dollar industries. Never. And this is going to be it. And you want everybody to be able to participate. So if somehow you put a law in there that says you got to be a millionaire to participate, well, that's what the law does say. That's what it says. Wait, it is what it says.
See, this is the best part. See, the more Gary Gensler tries to get, no with this stuff. Now remember, this is 2018. Gensler's I think he's already gone from the CFTC.
The CFTC, yep.
Okay, and he also has cooler socks. I mean, Draper has way cool socks, a nice looking tie. He's got a yellow, and he's got a Bitcoin tie. I think he's wearing. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe he had a couple cocktails before this. I don't know, Jeff. He seems like he had a couple cocktails. He's just like very like passionate about it. There's Gensler with his khakis on. No. He just gets louder. He's got the microphone. Gary's got the little clip-on one.
Yeah.
But Draper puts it right up there and gets right in his face. I mean, I love this.
Good.
Let's just back this up a little bit. This is great. Look, there comes the hand. There's the hand. And Jeff, we're going to have to play something you missed yesterday, which was an old video of Gensler. You just got to see it. It's a short video, but he's always with those hand motions. It's from
it's awesome.
It's from almost 40 years ago. Well, let's look at this. Here we go.
What it says. Wait, it is what it says. First say that.
No, it says no.
Okay. I know where you're going. I know where you're going. Okay, I'll let you say it. I like the idea of a government that.
She's just like
Oh,
we played this clip so many times with him on there, but
I've had the whole thing. Oh, it's awesome.
But Draper's just fantastic, man.
And the more you see it, the more you realize that Gary Gensler just is not the guy to be there to somehow be a mouthpiece or for regulatory clarity for the crypto space. Check this one out. This is when as we're talking about CBDCs kind of rolling out and this idea of digital money and real tax. But Jim D is saying, how crazy is it for the government to print Ponzi crypto and demand tax back? Demand tax back in junk crypto in a perpetual fiat inflation generator. I mean, it's just so ludicrous when we start getting into this and you start really thinking, through it. So before we go over to Gary, I check this out real quick, because this is the drift away from, as we're drifting away from the USD as a reserve currency. Let me pull this up real quick. Where'd it go? Oh, I just put your screen up.
I was like, why are you sharing my screen? We're like, I'm waiting for you to put your screen up. I'm like, what's wrong?
I know. I was trying to put my screen up, except I'm sharing your screen.
There you go.
Perfect. So you look at these guys. The one that I'm really shocked to be in this crowd is our representative from India. I'm really surprised, to see India, still participating with the BRIC, especially with the antagonistics, from both China and Russia, to what's going on with India. And there's a little bit of competition there, but yet they're coming together. But what they see is an opportunity to establish a counterbalance to the SDR, with the IMF, and they're finally saying, hey, you know what, we can take the IMF and replace them, because we're going to help support the region, and our countries now have all the money, so
right. Well,
Russia's now, their economy's booming, their currency's booming, mainly because of the price point of oil. Bring oil down to $20 a barrel, and that'll be the end of the Russian economy.
That's not why. It's because they pegged it to gold.
Well, I know that too. That's the other part of it. And they pegged it to gold, which is massive. And then you got China here. It's so look at these players.
Modi. So I don't know why Modi's in there anyway, but like he's kind of goes along to get along. But Bolsonaro is like the only thing. He's the last defense in South America. South America has gone to the dogs. Okay, it happened in Chile, because they got a guy in there pretending to be cool and fun and young. And hey, guys, we're going to give you everything. I'm going to give you everything you ever want. And everyone's like, okay. They don't remember Allende, who was the dictator who killed people back in the 70s. It didn't like him. And guess what happened? Guess what he did this last week, Jeff? He banned all the guns. And that's the first step. The first step to dictatorship. Look what just happened in Colombia.
That's what they did.
Bolsonaro's like the only guy like holding that fort down there in South America. Like he's hanging on, and here he is. Yeah. He looks way too happy that he's
way too happy. Look, he's grabbing. Maybe that's a grimace. He's holding them all together. He's like, I don't really want to be here. But I got to really have to just.
When you really have to pass there, you're like, okay, I just did.
Look who's the most comfortable though, man. He's just sitting there.
Putin's like, yeah.
Putin is just happy. Look at him. He's back. He's back, baby.
Well, look, you want to be part of something that's not the standard everywhere else. So I mean, I get it. I mean,
well, that's exactly it. But here's the thing, so they're definitely going to challenge the US dollar, and so here's, if anyone is wondering who the BRICS are: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But this is really, it's a big initiative. It's definitely going to serve as a counterbalance to the IMF, the SDR, the USD, to everything. But the one thing that is certain through all of this, Chip, is even if they do all of that, they're going to try to implement and build it based off of the digital yuan, or, are they creating silos? And this is where, the Ripple solution still becomes even, significantly relevant, regardless of the scenario of what's happening with those BRICS countries. is that they're creating their own silo. And then you're gonna have, so regionally speaking, you still have to move large sums of money between banks and institutions. And what are these five gonna kind of create their own silo on their own? And that's it. No one's ever gonna communicate with anybody on the West. Either you get on board or you don't. And it's not gonna happen that way. What they're gonna do is just kind of divide. And now you got to bring it back together. It builds the case even stronger. That's I find it, very interesting. No,
it's funny to watch some of it's Fernando says Bolsonaro is kind of an ass, but at least he's not Lula. Nowadays, it's all we can get, unfortunately. And then you have, let's see, what was this other one comment here I wanted to put up here? Where's
that's funny.
Gotta mark these off next time. Oh yeah, Miguel Castillo says JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs behind ETH. And who's Gary protecting? His old buddies, old pals. Let's throw this one up.
They might create a basket of BRIC currencies backed by metal and energy. I reckon Saudi Arabia and Turkey and others will join. That's interesting too. So if you back it by some strong resource, which they have a lot of, that's the other component of it. You bring them all together and they're all sitting on a whole bunch of this resource. And then we have the
so I want to
representative from the U.S. going to beg the Saudis for oil.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to set this up. This was tweeted out there, but this is Gensler at the time. This is from April 15th, 1989. Gensler being the head of Media M&A at Goldman Sachs in New York. Puts up a position. I'm going to set it up first. Puts him in a position where he's at the negotiation table for the purchase of the New York Daily News on behalf of Goldman Sachs client, Robert Maxwell. One could only assume frequent contact with the late publisher. So here we go. Let's throw this up there. And check out those giant specs. So Gensler, he actually has hair in this thing, but look at he's here we
1989.
Go. Let me see if this turned up all the way. No. Yeah, 1989.
To compete in the global field with Rupert Murdoch and Robert Maxwell and Ken Thompson, there are some new age giants. And Gannett and Knight Ridder and Times Mirror, in that sense, are new age giants. And some in my office say that I really don't work in the media field. I work in family planning and as an ombudsman to families. But the buyers are large chains and they want the highest profit. The sellers, it's a family group, usually it's cathartic. And by this point, all they want is the quick buck and the certainty of a closing. In a sense, to compete.
That's it. Anyway, that's just a fun video to see Gensler in all his he's such a weird looking dude, but he's got the hand too. The weird hand going all over the place.
He was 32 at that point.
Is that how old he is?
He was born in 1957.
Okay. So yeah, there's the whole tweet storm on Gensler. Yeah, it's a lot of critique about the whole idea with Robert Maxwell and a lot of things. But I found that video to be very cool. And look at this. Here's another
Hubble telescope lenses on his eyes.
Pretty much. And then this one here for wait, what? I showed your screen.
My eyes.
What's wrong with us?
You shut your screen.
Yeah, I had to.
Screen. Oh.
So first of kind license for a Bitcoin and crypto related firm in Australia. So our Aussie friends. Bitcoin BTC Markets, an Australia-based crypto exchange, has obtained the country's first financial services license for a Bitcoin and crypto related company. The Australian Securities and Investment Commission, ASIC, that's their version of the SEC, the nation's financial watchdog, who believes in forwarding the motion, unlike the SEC here, granted the permit to BTCM Payments, a sister firm of the BTC Markets. Firm applied for the license in August of 2020. It did take a little bit of time, Jeff. I'm not going to lie. It's almost 2 years later, but they did get it approved. So it's kind of a cool thing.
Well, they got a financial securities license. It's a pretty big deal. It's interesting politically speaking, and, based on freedom, Australia has lost a lot recently, but from an economic perspective, they've always been a little bit on the forefront. It's very interesting from an entrepreneurial perspective and kind of forward thinking perspective with technology. it always seems like Australia's always got a little bit of an edge, over what goes on in the US even. And I think it's really their positioning in the world with Japan and, China and Singapore and some of the others within the, Asian region and everything that Australia does, plus kind of balance with Europe and the US. It's kind of an interesting position to be in,
Exactly. So
my thought.
no, it's funny. Yesterday, I teased this, but I never actually got to the story. But I think it's a cool one. We have Monica Long, who's the general manager. She's the GM over at Ripple, and this right here, she was at NFT NYC, which is a big NFT show in New York City. She said, my first conversation officially in the books through conversations, both on and off stage in official venues and side dinners. I've been ruminating on what qualities are imperative for NFTs to succeed in the future. So there she is right there. That was her talking with Rachel Wolfson. And that was called Breaking the Boys Club Culture in Crypto, How NFTs are Bringing Women into Web3. It's kind of a cool topic. First, what's worked so far? Art and collectibles, no brainer. Why? Because identity and community. Flexing is a big part of it. We humans are predictable in what we take pride in, and PFPs as digitally wearable art are akin to cult favorite sneakers. Even with the current market downturn, identity and community still remain core to why people initially get into NFTs. I'm seeing stronger creator/fan relationships now too, and an overt call to cut intermediaries, the rent takers, and the friction makers. Funny because I like this comparison she's making, Jeff, because much the same way what we saw happen with the software that Ripple has also does the same thing. It cuts the intermediaries, the so-called rent taker and friction makers, and she's applying this now to sort of the NFT part of it. Yeah. And then we have second, where are we on the adoption curve? Early, if history is any indication. Recall 1969 ARPANET, 1990 WorldNet, World Wide Web, 2016 Apple, Tencent, Amazon at the top of global companies. It took 50 years. Crazy, right? It's 50 years to reach maturity. Compare that to 2009 Bitcoin, 2017 CryptoKitties, 2021, 22 NFTs are firmly in the mainstream consciousness. However, NFTs are still essentially babies, barely 5 years old. So what will move us to the enlightenment on the adoption curve? Key components, in my opinion, include 1, product market fit, identifying rug pulls versus real deal, adopting community token loops, ensuring ever-increasing engagement, stickiness with real utility, and usability/security to solve complex, scary user experience issues with self-custody, rampant theft on apps. Key components too, regulation, lots of fractionalized KYC, AML, property concerns today, not just about regulatory clarity for crypto assets, but creators want to protect their IP, their intellectual property, build marketplaces, monetize their work safely without running afoul of regulators. Gets a nice little uppercut in there,
Little
Jeff.
zinger right there.
A little zingity zing. What I saw at NFT NYC broadly was more proof that in crypto winters, the builders focus on just that, building.
That's a great point.
Right?
And it's not just hype, but when things are booming, everybody's focused on money, how much you're going to make on the next NFT, on the next digital asset. And here things are a little difficult. They can go back to bare bones, go back to building, making it better, developing, finding something new. It's a great observation. I'm glad that was brought up.
And she gave a shout out to Ripple X, XRPL Punks, Fluff World. This is a cool thing where the drone takes off, and it's kind of a cool shot right there.
Mixed. Why go to New York City at all? I tend to agree with that. Why even have it there? And then bring it to Miami. Everything's better in Miami.
It surely is, Jeff. It surely is. And then, Toronto, the thing is, like, guys like you and I can't go to Toronto. We can't even get in there. Like, they won't even let us in. So that tells you the people that went, right? I mean, I think you guys
are Matt. Yeah, people holding an NFT of their personal investment stock, NFT of their home title, NFT of their digital ID art was just a beginning. I agree with Matt. I think art is just the beginning of the NFT to get it. It's proof of concept, but it's the easiest proof of concept because you start bringing out
for adoption.
And then for adoption purpose, right? And then, I mean, it's amazing. It's endless. And Chip, we were talking to Milo last week, and to me, I look at the solidification of everything that they're doing is then put into an NFT, and now you have your NFT is the note that they're holding,
title,
the leverage,
everything.
Title. It's everything. It all it's amazing what can be done, and we're just seeing the beginning of it.
Well, Jeff, look at the time. My gosh, it always flies by on a Sunday night, hanging out with all of you. And again, we always appreciate you guys coming in here, supporting the channel. But if you are subscribed, unsubscribe, then like and subscribe and click that notification bell. You already liked, unliked, like. Just do a lot of stuff. Clickety click. Just click a lot of buttons. As long as when you leave here, you're subscribed, that notification bell is on. That way you might kind of perhaps know when we go live, because it doesn't always work, and that's just how life is. It's not
life
perfect.
Goes.
It's not perfect, Jeff.
Big shout out to Sophie. Great show, Jeff and Chip. Smartest peeps in crypto. Visit here. See everybody on the next one. Thank you, Sophie. And she's right there because we do have the best and the brightest in all of YouTube crypto space. Gather here. We have a whole bunch of new names that are tuning in also, which is outstanding. Like Fernando right there. I don't know that we've seen, or Miguel. I don't know if we've seen you guys commenting. Even Martin Redwood, I believe Martin's been around for a little while.
Martin's been in here a little
bit. Menelect, but then, it's interesting how people kind of, start commenting. It's awesome. Love to see the comments.
Yeah, love to see it, guys. And we'll be back on Wednesday night. So let's have a great week. Let's see what happens this week. Positive vibes going into this week. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Anything else you want to say on the way out, Jeff?
See you guys on the next one.
Chip and Jeff. Ow!
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.